I'm gonna do it again because I got to break Kevin's new record. I got to get back on the stage because this new record that Kevin got, I got to have it back, Kevin.
I've talked to him. Eddie, what the you doing? Get on stage. I don't know, man. Maybe.
But Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you.
I don't know what records nobody broke.
You can't deny that Kevin Hart is one of the biggest comedians out there right now. He's built an empire. From stand-up stages to blockbuster movies, from podcasts to business ventures. But lately, Kevin's name has been all over the place, and not in a good way. It seems like everyone's taking shots at him, especially his fellow black comedians. And you know how brutal the comedy scene can get, right? These guys can lift you up 1 minute and tear you down the next, all with just a few words and a mic. So, it's no wonder Kevin might be feeling a little uneasy these days. But why would a man as successful as Kevin Hart be sweating bullets over what other comedians think? Well, that's where Eddie Murphy steps into the picture, the man, the myth, the comedy legend himself. Rumor has it, Eddie's getting ready to shed some light on certain Hollywood truths that could expose a side of Kevin few people have seen. Whispers are flying that there's some real dirt hiding in Kevin's closet, and fans already caught a glimpse of it when Katt Williams decided to air out some of Kevin's alleged secrets earlier this year. Kevin tried to clap back, of course, but anyone watching could see he was a little shaken. Now, with Eddie Murphy and a few other old-school legends supposedly gearing up to speak out, it looks like Kevin might be in for a rough ride. He's definitely not out of the woods just yet. Let's break it down. Eddie Murphy has always been known as that cool uncle at the family reunion. Laid back, funny, and rarely caught up in any public drama. So if Eddie is stepping into the ring to call out Kevin Hart, you know it's serious. These two actually share a mutual respect. They've even teamed up on projects before like Meet Dave. But even that history isn't stopping Eddie from allegedly calling Kevin out for what he sees as Hollywood behavior. So what's the supposed issue? The buzz in the industry suggests that Kevin may have climbed his way to the top by cozying up to the big power players in entertainment, maybe even stepping on a few toes to get ahead. There are also whispers about some questionable compromises Kevin might have made on his way to fame. And if anyone would know what's really going on behind the scenes, it's Eddie Murphy. The man's been in the game since the 1980s and has seen it all: the fame, the downfall, the politics, and the price of success. Take Katt Williams' side of the story, for example. During his now infamous interview on Club Shay Shay, Katt didn't hold back. He straight up called Kevin an industry plant. He claimed Kevin's rise to fame was way too fast to be natural, landing a sitcom and starring in Soul Plane all within his first year in Los Angeles. According to Katt, that just doesn't happen without some powerful help from behind the curtain. Here's what Katt said. Have we ever heard of a comedian that came to LA, and in his first year, he had his own sitcom and a movie where he was the lead? No, not before him, not since him. What do you think a plant is? Katt's words hit hard because honestly, the timeline does sound suspicious. Most comedians grind for years before getting a network deal or leading a film. Kevin, on the other hand, seemed to skyrocket overnight. And if you followed their history, you'll remember that the beef between Katt and Kevin isn't new. It actually traces all the way back to the 2008 movie Fool's Gold. Katt was originally set to play a key role in the film, but had to step down due to legal issues. Guess who swooped in to replace him? That's right, Kevin Hart. Ever since then, tension has lingered. Katt's accusations go deeper than just career jealousy. He's been very vocal about the darker side of Hollywood, the part most fans don't see. According to Katt, some entertainers are forced into situations or tests to prove their loyalty to the system. He's even talked about how liars and manipulators seem to rise faster because they're willing to play the game. He once said, "It's crazy how the liars got all the resources. The truth tellers gotta struggle to be heard." Katt admits he knows that speaking out might cost him opportunities, but he claims he'd rather stay broke than sell his soul. When asked if he feared backlash, he gave one of the most memorable answers ever. Satan can't create anything that includes blessings for his people. The number one job of somebody who sold their soul in Hollywood is to act like it didn't happen. That line alone sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. And that brings us back to Kevin Hart. The industry plant theory about him ties into a larger Hollywood rumor, one that's been circulating for decades. It's about certain entertainers supposedly being blackmailed or pressured into doing things they normally wouldn't, often to prove their loyalty or humility before leveling up in fame. Even comedy icons like Dave Chappelle have spoken about this. Back in 2006, during his unforgettable interview on The Oprah Winfrey Show, Dave explained why he walked away from a $50 million deal with Comedy Central. He said it wasn't just about money, it was about integrity. He'd seen too many stars crumble under the weight of what fame demanded. Dave mentioned examples like Mariah Carey, who landed a massive record deal and was later labeled crazy, or Martin Lawrence, who had a public breakdown. He even talked about being pressured to perform certain sketches that made him uncomfortable, sketches that seemed to mock him rather than celebrate his comedy. In that same interview, Dave shared an eye-opening story. While filming a movie with Martin Lawrence, producers tried to get him to wear a dress for a comedic scene. Dave refused, saying he didn't need a dress to be funny. They kept pushing him, insisting it was hilarious, but Dave stood his ground. Eventually, the writers changed the scene, proving they could have done it differently all along. For Dave, that moment was bigger than just saying no to a costume. It was about realizing how often black male comedians were asked to cross certain lines. He started seeing a pattern: Martin Lawrence, Big Mama's House, Eddie Murphy, The Nutty Professor, Jamie Foxx, in Living Color's Wanda, and even the Wayans brothers, White Chicks. And then there's Tyler Perry, who built an entire empire playing Medea, a character in a dress. Now here's the twist. In his early days, Kevin Hart was against that very thing. In interviews, Kevin used to talk about boundaries, integrity, and protecting your image. When asked if he'd ever wear a dress for a role, Kevin confidently said no. He even gave an example of turning down a request to dribble a basketball on a talk show because he didn't want to look foolish. "You have to have boundaries," Kevin said. "There are lines I refuse to cross." But a year later, fans were shocked when Kevin appeared on Saturday Night Live in a full dress, portraying a little girl named Quincy Wallace. The internet exploded. People accused him of selling out and doing the exact thing he said he'd never do. Kevin's response? He claimed it was all about creative choice. Nobody forced Martin Lawrence into Big Mama's House or Jamie Foxx into Wanda. "It's all about choice," Kevin said. "If it's funny, I'll do it." But while Kevin's been busy brushing off these controversies, it seems the storm around him is far from over. See, every time Kevin tries to move forward, someone from his past or another comedian from his circle brings up old wounds. The tension between Kevin Hart and Katt Williams has reignited full force, especially now that Torrei Hart is joining Katt on tour. Fans can't help but speculate that this isn't just business, but a little dose of payback. People online have been dissecting every interaction, every post, and every comment. Torrei shared a few cryptic lines about loyalty, truth, and real people standing together, which sent the internet into detective mode. Fans immediately linked it to Kevin's ongoing feud with Katt. The narrative being spun now? That Torrei is silently backing Katt in his war against her ex-husband. Meanwhile, Kevin's trying to maintain his polished image. He's still hosting major events, starring in big-budget movies, and running his own production company. But behind the smiles and motivational speeches, insiders claim he's feeling the pressure. The same comedians who once stood beside him are slowly turning their backs. Some say Kevin's success has built a wall between him and the rest of the comedy community. A wall made of fame, power, and money. Even Eddie Murphy's rumored involvement has fans buzzing. While Eddie hasn't made any direct statement, sources close to him suggest that he's planning to set the record straight about certain Hollywood dynamics, ones that could expose how fame sometimes comes with silent compromises. If Eddie truly decides to open up, Kevin might not be ready for what's coming. After all, Eddie's word carries massive weight in the comedy world. But Kevin's story isn't all negative. Supporters argue that every major comedian, from Richard Pryor to Dave Chappelle, has faced backlash and jealousy from peers. Some say Kevin is just a convenient target because he's at the top. Others defend him by pointing out how hard he's worked over the years, grinding through small clubs, producing his own films, and building a multimillion-dollar empire without the typical Hollywood shortcuts. Still, the whispers won't stop. A few critics claim Kevin's humor has become too safe, too polished, and no longer connects with the raw, unfiltered spirit that made him famous. They accuse him of selling out, of catering to corporate America instead of staying true to the culture that built him. But Kevin claps back saying he's simply evolving, growing from a street comic to a businessman, husband, and father. Things got even messier when rumors spread about possible tension between Kevin and other big names like Mike Epps and DL Hughley. Both have made sly remarks over the years hinting that Kevin's rise was too perfect to be real. During one interview, Mike Epps said, "Some of us came up the hard way, man. We didn't have no machine behind us." Fans instantly took that as shade aimed directly at Kevin. DL Hughley added fuel to the fire, saying that fame can be the biggest drug. Some people just can't get enough. Despite all that, Kevin keeps pushing forward, staying booked and busy. He continues to expand his business ventures, Heartbeat Productions, his tequila brand Gran Cormino, and even his health and fitness empire. But critics argue that his overexposure might be what's causing so many people to turn against him. They say he's everywhere, from talk shows to commercials to podcasts, leaving little mystery left in his brand. And then came the new wave of social media drama. Old clips resurfaced showing Kevin making jokes about cheating, race, and fame, jokes that don't sit well with today's audiences. Cancel culture has its eyes on him, waiting for any slip-up. Kevin's learned that lesson the hard way after his 2018 Oscars controversy, when old tweets came back to haunt him. He apologized, but the incident left a mark that's still hard to erase. Recently, Kevin addressed the constant hate in a podcast appearance, saying, "People don't want to see you win forever. The same ones who cheer for you in the beginning will look for reasons to tear you down when you get there." It's a powerful statement, and maybe a glimpse into how he truly feels. Behind all the laughter, maybe Kevin's tired of being the punchline. Still, fans can't help but notice how often drama follows him. Whether it's Katt Williams calling him fake, Monique feeling betrayed, or Torrey Hart teaming up with Kevin's enemies. It's almost as if every chapter of his life has another scandal waiting to unfold. What's interesting, though, is how Kevin's handling it all differently now. Instead of firing back on social media like he used to, he's taking a quieter approach, focusing on his craft, his family, and his empire. Some fans see this as maturity. Others say it's damage control. Even so, Hollywood insiders warn that things could still take a sharp turn. With Eddie Murphy rumored to expose certain industry secrets, and Katt Williams promising more truth bombs, Kevin might soon find himself back under the spotlight, but not for a movie premiere this time. If there's one thing Kevin's fans and critics can agree on, it's that he's resilient. He's been through car crashes, scandals, lawsuits, and broken friendships, but every time he bounces back stronger. That's the paradox of Kevin Hart. Loved by millions, criticized by peers, yet unstoppable in his hustle. As the new generation of comedians like DC Young Fly and Desi Banks begin to rise, some wonder whether Kevin's era is slowly fading or simply transforming. Has Kevin Hart reached his peak? Or is he gearing up for another reinvention that'll silence his haters for good? Time will tell, but one thing's for sure. No matter how many rumors surface, no matter who calls him out, Kevin Hart's name continues to dominate the industry. Whether you love him or question him, you can't ignore him. And that's what makes him one of the most talked about comedians in modern history. While Kevin Hart keeps smiling for the cameras, the behind-the-scenes chatter in Hollywood is getting louder. Everyone's waiting to see if Eddie Murphy will actually speak up, or if the rumors are just smoke and mirrors. Industry insiders say Eddie's been quietly working on a new stand-up special, his first in years, and if that's true, people believe he'll use it to address the state of comedy today. Translation: some subtle but undeniable jabs at Kevin Hart and the machine that helped build him. Eddie has always been respected as the godfather of modern comedy, the one who paved the way for guys like Kevin, Dave Chappelle, and Chris Rock. So if he hints that Kevin's rise wasn't as organic as it seems, it'll hit harder than any tweet or interview. Fans already noticed that in recent interviews, Eddie's been choosing his words carefully, complimenting Kevin's work ethic, but stopping short of calling him one of the greats. That silence speaks volumes in Hollywood. At the same time, Katt Williams isn't slowing down either. His Dark Matter tour has been sold out in multiple cities, and he's using every show as a platform to drop more truth bombs about the industry. On stage, he's doubled down on calling Kevin an industry creation, saying that real comedians don't need backing. They build their fame through raw talent and struggle. Clips of his rants keep going viral, and fans are eating it up. Some see Katt as a rebel exposing the system. Others think he's just jealous of Kevin's success. Torrey Hart's alliance with Katt only fuels that fire. Together, they've been posting behind-the-scenes photos from the tour, sharing laughs, hugging fans, and captioning it with phrases like, "Real recognize real." It's subtle, but anyone paying attention knows it's aimed at Kevin.